Hi, I'm Whitney.
And I'm Brandon.
And we love to tell true crime stories. We've got a lot of opinions and absolutely no qualifications. So welcome to
Criminally Unqualified.
I'm going to be taking us back to Victorian England today to tell you about a woman who just seemed to have tragedy follow her wherever she went. But authorities begin to suspect that it's more than just bad luck and coincidence. And so today's story is The Many Crimes of Mary Ann Cotton. So Brandon, what are you bringing to the podcast today?
Well, little Lola Bean. You guys listening can't see her, but we brought our little dog. Check out our YouTube channel to see her.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is she blocked by the laptop?
Yeah,
No,
you can
she's
see
not.
her. So last time, if you listened, you may have heard her thump against the door. And so
Bombarding the door.
yeah,
She
we
just-
had to put her elsewhere, but we decided because we're terrible dog parents that instead of just locking her elsewhere, we were going to just put her as part of the podcast instead. So
get her own chair.
yes, so we got her a baby clip-on high chair.
Yeah.
Am I embarrassed by that? You know what? No, I'm going to own it. And there's a Squishmallow sitting
I think
on
it's
it.
gangster. How many other podcasts have their dog with them?
I don't know, but
I don't think I haven't seen any. So
I'm gonna be honest, if I'm like on a work call and someone's dog is in the background and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, my dog's here or their kid's
it's
here.
like, why are you apologizing?
First of all, shut up and show me your dog or your kid, like, or your cat, or your bird. I don't care what you have. I don't really care what you're talking about anymore. My ADHD has taken over and I want to see your pet. So
Tell me more.
don't
you know?
apologize. Stop what you're talking about. I'm not listening. Show me your pet.
Yep.
So anyway, Lola, in that scheme of things, welcome to the podcast. Lola, what are you bringing to the podcast today? Foot licking. All right. Well,
Cuteness. She's bringing
yes,
all the cuteness.
she is bringing a lot of cuteness.
Now, I also have a question for you.
Ooh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
ready.
So, what conspiracy theories do you believe in, if any, or like your main one?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Really get your
I think-
brain going, right?
Yeah. I think a few of them would be, I mean, obviously it's come out, aliens are real. We've all been through so much
That's
shit.
the one I
It's
stuck around and always have believed, but have
Yeah.
had no proof. But I'm just like, it's for us to be. But is that the one?
Well, that's one of them. And so I do think that like there's way more that they didn't release, but they're like, well, population's shell shocked anyway from
COVID
every
and
year
everything
another
else.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
So I think, the conspiracy is that there's way more there than's been shared. Havana syndrome.
I don't know
We've talked
that.
about that. I don't know that that's like a proven thing. We
is
talked
that?
about this. I think we saw it like on a documentary. So there were like diplomats or something that were in Cuba and they all complained of like a bunch of symptoms they had. And it's believed that maybe there's some type of weapon that is done through like sound waves that can like fuck with your brain. I'm probably fucking this up. I was not prepared to answer all the things, but that's one that like I feel like that could be legit. Also conspiracy that like the purse manufacturers are in on it with like ladies' pants pockets. Just the man fucking still on our necks. So
Big Purse, actually,
big purse.
is the one.
Big purse might be the one I believe the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Okay.
How about you?
So what is it? Is it aliens or Havana syndrome? I guess both for you.
Well, it's big purse. Honestly, now that we've talked about it, big purse absolutely fucking number one. But
Yeah.
then aliens and Havana syndrome. I'd say in that order.
Being real shisty with your pockets.
Yeah, I don't know if we say that anymore.
Oh,
Maybe.
well, okay.
Unsure, but yes, being just taking money.
Scrimping on the pockets.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, now how about you? I know that you like to go down a conspiracy rabbit hole.
I don't know. I like the Men in Black.
Oh, yeah.
Is up there. It gives me the heebie-jeebies when I watch it.
Yeah.
It's real creepy.
Yep.
Now this is the problem: is she's gonna sit here and whine.
Well, maybe she would like to share her conspiracy theory. Her conspiracy theory is that we don't actually feed the dog and cat separate foods. That we just feed them all dog food because the cat prefers it. And Lola, I'm here today to bring you information. You are correct. That's no longer a theory. That is a fact. Elsa refuses to eat her cat food, and she does, in fact, share dog food with you. We do not buy separate foods.
Mind blown.
Mind blown.
Yep. No, mine would be aliens. I think for sure. It's kind of lame, but
You think they're like among us, though. I feel like in conversations we've had.
oh, they're for sure among us. I think they're walking the earth for sure.
Yeah. Well, could honestly at this point you could tell me that and be like, yeah,
Here's the
that
thing,
fucking
though.
checks out.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think anyone has proof because any videos that people record of like aliens or UFOs and all that, it's the shittiest quality footage. And the UFOs I get because people have to zoom way in on their phone and use digital zoom. But like in Miami, I think that's where it was Miami when everybody said there was aliens, like giant aliens. Nobody captured that on their smartphones.
At this day and age, at this point, I'm like, why does everybody have potato quality? Although to last week's video, maybe it's the same people it's the same phone Drake uses to shoot his own naked videos, or the same ones people just happen to have when they shoot alien videos.
Yep. No.
Okay. Step further, is Drake an alien? That's why it's potato quality on the nudie video.
That's my new favorite conspiracy. Drake is an alien clone. Or just an alien.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You've heard it here first, folks, unless you're litigious and you're Drake, in which case we're totally just kidding.
Drake's an alien. An alien.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that might be the best conspiracy theory we have yet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on a darker turn of events, are you ready to hear about Mary Ann Cotton?
Mary Ann Cotton.
Yes. So Victorian England, in case you're not familiar, is like 1800s. It's a more specific time period. We're just say 1800s England.
Yeah.
So we're going to go on our Wayback Machine. A few things.
Our Wayback Machine.
Our Wayback Machine. Our time machine. Our DeLorean. If you're a Back to the Future fan.
Yeah.
It's the car they took. You knew that.
Everyone knows that, I think.
I don't know. What if like younger people, the youth? I don't know.
Has Emmett watched
Back to the Future?
Yeah.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, was okay. So you're doing a terrible job at parenting, also.
let's go with just by that alone, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So a few things. Quick trigger warning on this. There is mention of children dying in this episode. I don't like that either. I don't get anything like gory, but if that is triggering for you, this episode's just probably not for you, and that's okay. Join us next week. But like I said, we won't get into anything graphic here. But let's dive into the topic. I found this idea for the story on an article on allthings.com, and the article is called 15 of the Most Shocking Crimes You've Never Heard of by M. Sanders. And I agree. At the end of this, I think you're going to say, why haven't I heard of this before? All right, so my last kind of comment on this is because this is in the 1800s, all of the sources are not well documented. It's not like it is now. So I had to really like piece a bunch of things together. And for the most part, I went with the facts that were like most common across articles and then kind of filled in the rest where I could. But just something that happens when you're back in the old timies, as no one calls them.
The old timies.
The old timies. All right, so back in our DeLorean, it's 1832.
Set the scene.
Yes, almost 200 years ago, Mary Ann Robson was born in Durham County, England, which is in the northeast corner of England. Side note, the show we watch, Naked Attraction on HBO, which I'm obsessed with, and it's like takes place in England. And so they always talk about like people's accents from where they're from. I wish I had looked up before this what their accent sounds like.
Yeah.
Not that I need to picture these people on Naked Attraction, but I've been wondering and I forgot to look it up. Okay.
That's okay.
So there's not a lot about her early life, but in her mid-teens, she first does some work as a nurse. It seemed like an early age, really, to give someone like a nursing job. And then she becomes a dressmaker for a little bit. But as all women seem to do at that time, she gets married early. And in 1852, at the age of 20, she marries William Mowbray. And together they have a lot of fucking kids. I heard some...
A lot, huh? We're talking 4, like last time?
9 kids. 9.
How do you even keep up in this day and age, let alone...
I think like the older ones are raising the younger ones. Also, I was thinking about like, there is no way she is not peeing her pants all the fucking time.
From having that many kids?
Right.
Oh, she's pissing left and right.
No one's doing
disrespect.
Kegels.
No disrespect on moms that tinkle a little bit, you know? But
no,
like,
that happened. Listen.
Crazy.
But 9 kids?
She's pissing left and right.
I feel like she, in my mind now, and we're not going to
like
her.
Did they have diapers back then?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, like cloths that they put on the kids. I assume they had stuff for their periods. I don't know. I don't like her. She's real sus, and then we'll learn some things. So I'm going to assume she smells like pee.
A little piss ant walking around.
Yeah. So anyway, she has 9 kids. Kudos to her. That's a lot of fucking kids. However, The record isn't great on this because it's so far back. So I heard some kind of varying degrees on this number of kids, but that's what we're going to go with. So unfortunately, multiple of their children passed over time, each from something called gastric fever. So things were called different things back then, but think like stomach cramps, diarrhea, constipation, a fever, things you would associate with like stomach flu or just gastrointestinal issues.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like
yes.
Gas buildup.
Yes. So not good, but you can pass from that. And, it's a lot different medical whatever situation then. So 6 of their children pass away from gastric fever.
That's wild.
Over the course of about a decade. So
they left with 3.
Yes, left with 3. And William starts to get nervous that it's just, him and Marianne and their 3 kids. And so he decides to take out an insurance policy for him and the 3 kids. He's like, obviously, our family's susceptible to some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. So we need to, just be careful and let's take out some insurance. Also, okay, one other thing. This is a really dirty time. I went down a rabbit hole of what causes some of these symptoms.
How dirty the 1800s
yes.
were.
Okay. So it can be you can get gastrointestinal issues then and any time from not washing your hands, contaminated food, contaminated drinks, surfaces. And I went down this rabbit hole in the history of hand washing, which was honestly extremely interesting. I tried not to spoil it all. I know I had to tell you some facts yesterday when I heard them. Okay, it wasn't until 1980. I want you to let that sink in. 1980.
What is that? 10 years later? No, I'm joking.
Oh God, don't do math again. Where the CDC in America really started to tell the general population that if you wash your hands, that's a good way to help prevent the spread of infection, which was fucking wild to me. I was like, should there be
Seems like common sense to
Well,
us.
yeah, now because we understand
But
germ theory and
1980.
stuff. Yeah, it was wild.
1980. That is, I don't want to do the math on it, but that's less than 40, 50 years.
Less than 50. Good.
Less than 50. I caught myself.
You nailed it on that
Let's
math
go.
one. Were you doing times tables before we started this episode just in case?
No, I should. I should. I'm too far gone at this point, but I got that.
Yes, you did.
Which is crazy. So there are people that are living to this day that was not a thing to them, or that they heard from the CDC that hey, you got to wash your hands.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yes. So the article is linked in our show notes about the hand washing. It's super interesting. People were starting to try to spread that around with doctors in the 1800s. But 1980 blew my fucking mind on it.
Insane.
Yes. Okay. So it's a dirty time. 6 kids passing over a course of 10, 12
children
years.
Are filthy, so.
Well, that's true. It sounds like everybody was filthy, but that seems like a lot. So William takes out this insurance policy for him and the 3 kids. Well, wouldn't you know it, William and 2 of the kids also end up getting sick and passing, again, from symptoms related to gastric fever.
Is she taking them out?
It doesn't seem like great statistics, but it's...
Not at all, especially right after the policy. Without the policy, I don't see a point in doing that. I mean, I don't see a point in doing it regardless, but
yeah,
now there's an incentive for her.
It just doesn't look good, but maybe just I don't know, they just have weak stomachs,
genes.
weak immune system or something. But so now it's Marianne and her remaining daughter, Isabella. And they doesn't really say why in all my research, but Marianne says, Isabella, you're going to go live with your grandma now, Marianne's mom.
Mm-hmm. Just little Lola's going to go visit her chair again.
She's wants to lay on a squishmallow anytime except during the podcast when I need her to.
She will snooze all day on the squishmallow.
I know.
Right now, nope.
Oh, she probably wants you to hold her. That's all right. Okay. So, Marianne sends her daughter to go live with her mom and dusts off her nursing degree and says, all right, well, I've got some experience with nursing. I'm going to go back and work at the hospital, try to make some money. You know, the life insurance policies weren't huge, but seems like a long-term plan.
I would like to know what she was spending that money on. Do you know what I mean?
Probably new underwear from all the pee pants. I assume.
Just couldn't wash them. She said, fuck it, I'm gonna buy new undies.
I don't have any more kids to wash them for me.
Yeah,
it's a problem. So she, while working as a nurse, she meets George Ward. He's one of her patients. And in 1865, George and Mary Ann get married.
Be careful.
Well, he's already sick. They meet in the hospital. So, maybe it's just like a real connection they have over her care for him.
Fuck that. She's the original, like, gold digger.
Well, we'll see what you think, I
Is
guess,
where
as
it's
we go
going.
on.
She finds a nice, handsome old man who's dwindling.
Old man at that time was like, what, like 40 years old? Like 25? I don't know. She's in her early 20s, I think, at this point.
Sure, well, people were dying off before 50, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot.
So she finds a handsome guy. Mm-hmm. The edge of his life.
Maybe he wasn't as sick as at the edge of his life, which is interesting.
So he was sick, but he wasn't dying.
He was sick, but not dying. And according to Wikipedia, he had been suffering from some gastrointestinal issues and also some paralysis. Presumably she met him
How common was gastro problems?
I guess a lot. Also, was everybody just farting all the time? I'd like to think they were. I don't know why.
I don't think farting was a thing back then. Like, I mean, it was a thing, but I don't think it was.
You don't think people's bodies farted in the 1800s?
No. Everybody farted ever since cavemen farted, and I'm sure they got a kick out of it. I bet. No, I bet they just weren't. I bet they were keeping it to themselves in the 1800s more.
Oh, you think they were getting stuck up under those big floofy skirts, and when they took them off for the night, it was just like a ball of farts?
Wow, just bow. Just a brick wall.
Like when you're under the blanket maybe and you let a little silent one out and you get out and you're like, oh, haunted by farts past.
Do you think at the, was it a brothel house? No. Yes.
Where sex workers were?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think some fetish type of men rolled up in there and just wanted to get under their skirts, their giant...
Well, now I know what you would want to do in the 1800s. It came to your mind so quickly because you didn't know I was going to talk about this.
Well, you brought the giant waft, the brick house of...
And you thought, how can I get up under some of those 1800 skirts?
I just thought, like, yes, it is trapping like a thick duvet comforter. It is trapping a fart in there, and I wonder if people are willing to pay. Back then, like, where fetishes are not even fetishes anymore, right? Like, if you think about, like, anal play, that's not even a fetish anymore.
How did we get here?
Listen, my brain is weird, and this is how we're here, but if you think of anal play, it's not a fetish anymore, right? It's... People might call it a fetish, but is it a fetish? No, because it's so common. Where back then, anal play was probably more of a fetish.
Something for us to Google after.
And smelling farts. When is the first documented case of like a fart smeller?
Oh, okay. There is.
Do you know?
No, I don't. But I think I don't know if it's Benjamin Franklin. I think it was him. Has letters that he would write to his mistress where he talks about like wanting to basically like bathe in her fart smell.
Wait, who?
I think it was Benjamin Franklin. I'm going to have to look it up. A long time ago.
Well, I know, but like 1800s?
All right, hold on. You want me to look it up real fast?
Yeah, let's do a quick Google.
Because
that might be one of the early, like, if we can document when he was smelling farts, that's crazy. So it has to be...
I can't type it. Like, when I have to type, I can't type.
Yeah, it's figures.
Okay. In 1871, he wrote an essay about farting, which is interesting. That's not what I'm talking about, though.
It doesn't matter. You write an essay. This dude has a fart fetish. There we go.
I think he must have, but
So people for sure, you're sitting here knocking me. People for sure are paying these ladies to...
It's only knocking you if you actually have one. Are we learning something about ourselves today?
If I had a fart fetish, you would know, because when you blow beef at night, I would be under there. I would be under there, dude. I'd be like, whose house is it? My house. But I'm not.
You're fired.
Anyway, all right.
All right, well, I'll look up that letter, but I'm pretty sure it's him. We'll fucking see. Okay, anyway.
So that's crazy. I would like to go on that's a whole nother topic for another day, but when were fetishes created or documented?
Last thing, there is something you can see online, and it's like an old-timey menu from like a sex worker, like a brothel house.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah.
They have interesting names. Anyway.
Sorry, let's just like pull it back in. Of all the places I thought we might go on tangents, that was not one of them, but here we are.
I like to keep you on your toes, baby.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get married in 1865, Marianne and George. And in 1866, George unfortunately passes away from, quote, English cholera and typhoid.
1 year later, she cannot.
1 year later.
She cannot stand a man. She can't deal with it.
I wasn't sure if you were going to add more to the sentence, but you were like, no, full stop.
Full stop. She just cannot stand a man. Most people would just, after a year, right, like, this ain't working out. I'm moving on to the next one.
I don't think people maybe moved on quite as much then.
Well, she is, but except for moving on, she's murdering. I think.
It seems weird. Now, an article I read also called out that one of George's doctors had made a comment that even though George had been sick for a long time, his death did happen pretty suddenly.
Yeah.
So, doesn't look good.
She met him while he was sick, but then it seems like within a year, he's doing all right.
Yeah. So I also noted maybe like she just shouldn't be treating sick people. I know we've done this nurse gig a couple times, but
I used to watch.
You're not good at it.
I used to watch a show, Murderous Nurses or something like that.
Is that a real
Killer
show?
in the Hospital? It is. So it's some weird title, but it's Deadly Nurses. That's it. It's a very simple title. Deadly Nurses, but they're
Yep. All right.
They kill their patients, man.
Well, so George Ward also had an insurance policy, which of course Marianne collected because she was his wife. Mm-hmm. Okay.
More underwears.
That's right. Devil's advocate. Maybe Marianne was like, I'm going to marry him because he's sickly.
She's attracted to the sick men.
No, just more like,
I know.
Like he'll
I'm
kick
messing with you.
Or maybe, I don't know.
He'll kick the bucket. I don't have to put in work for this one.
Yeah.
He's gonna die anyway.
Mm-hmm. And then maybe he was just too slow. I don't know.
He's too strong. Man was fighting.
All right. Well, Marianne, 2 husbands down. Not good.
2 husbands down and 9 children.
Yes.
Don't forget the.
Yes, and 9 children. Also,
Don't forget the appetizers.
Ew. That's awful.
That is
Well,
awful.
it was funny, though.
Thank you.
Okay, so she decides fresh start. You know what? Maybe nursing for now, not for me. And honestly, great point, Marianne. Not fucking for you. And she decides to apply to be a housekeeper for a widower named James Robinson, who had 5 children.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm scared for the kids.
You should be.
I am.
You should be. So it's reported that not long after she started working there, as early as maybe a few weeks.
You got to get right up on the mic.
As early as like a few weeks, one of his children passes away.
Motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. The cause
Trifling
Yep.
Peabody.
Pea pants. Trifling pea pants.
Pea pants.
And the cause of death is deemed gastric fever, which
She's feeding these kids and husbands something that are causing gastro problems.
seems like it.
Seems like it.
So then Marianne's mother falls ill, and this is the same mom that's taking care of her daughter Isabella. And so Marianne temporarily leaves her job as the housekeeper to go take care of her mom. And when she leaves, like a week to 9 days later,
To take care of her mom.
her mom, yep.
Her mom dies also.
Her mom dies. And what's interesting is what her mom was ill from, which may have been hepatitis, according to one article I read. So not gastrointestinal issues. Before she died, there were some reports that she had started to complain of having stomach issues.
Poisoning these.
Yep. So interesting. So then, Isabella has to come back to live with Marianne because, her mom's not there to take care of her anymore. So Isabella and Marianne move into the house.
Who's Isabella again?
Her daughter, her one remaining daughter.
Oh, she had one.
Remember her mom was taking care of her?
I missed that part, but
Yes.
yeah.
So before she started working at the nurse.
So she didn't lose
as a
9
nurse.
kids. She lost 8 kids.
No. Oh, yep. She lost 8 kids.
Yeah.
Well, buckle up. So for now, yes, she's lost 8 kids. So
Yeah.
Isabella comes back to live with her, and they move in with James Robinson, who she's the housekeeper for him, and now he has 4 kids left.
Yeah.
But where she goes, tragedy seems to follow. Hi, you're very cute, Lola.
She's got her back turned now.
There are, in 1867, within about a month, there are 3 more deaths in the family. Isabella, her last natural-born child, and 2 more of James Robinson's children.
Does he not realize, like, holy fuck, this girl...
I don't know.
Common sense was a thing back then. It had to have been.
Well, sure.
Common sense has always been a thing, right?
Yep.
I mean, intuition or whatever. Like, how do you not realize, like, I'm with this lady and my kids are just dropping like flies, man.
So something I read, this is even worse, that the 3 children died all within a span of like 2 weeks. I read that a couple places and then others were like a month. But regardless, that is a short period of time.
That's not like a year and then a couple years go by and another, like maybe some bad luck happens. This is...
Yes. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Okay, so flip side, who knows what the fuck story she's told him about her previous life? Isabella hasn't been around to squawk about how many siblings she had that passed or how many husbands that her mom has had so far, which maybe Mary told him, but it's interesting to me. Like, she could have lied about all of that. It's not like he could have given her a Google and, like, figured it out.
Yeah.
You know? And if sometimes stomach bugs pass around to people. So if he doesn't know her backstory, I don't know why I'm defending him.
I guess this is true, though. This is true. People, it's not like it is now, where it's not like where somebody we get sick and then everybody in the house usually gets sick, but it's not like people, back then, somebody gets sick and dies, it probably hits a few.
Yeah, you know, people will get stomach flu. That can pass around.
Yeah.
But still, they're not all... so young maybe that they should be dying like that. I don't know. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah, not at all. Especially, I don't even know if this dude knows her backstory.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying before is like, who knows what she told him?
Yeah.
Isabella hasn't been there most of the time.
My husband was an abusive drunk or whatever. He took the kids and he split. She could have said that. Well,
she could have said like the last one, George Ward, well, he died. He was sick. You know, we married. He was sick.
Yeah.
Who's to
I wonder
say?
if she's telling people that. I wonder what she's saying. It doesn't matter.
I know. I do too, though. But, I 100% wonder what she's saying. Okay, so Marion collects insurance policies she had taken on Isabella's life. It sounds like she didn't have them on his kids, his 2 kids that had passed, but on her own daughter's life, she had one.
Yeah.
And I guess that would have been back from her first marriage when there were 3 kids remaining, remember? And William had taken the policy out for him and the 3 kids.
Yeah.
So she cashed in on that. And eventually, James and Marianne get married. He doesn't say, oh, this is weird that I had all these kids until you lived here.
He's like, well.
He said they're comforting each other, consoling each other.
Yeah.
And just here's what happens.
Trifling ass bitch. You're going to kill this man's kids. I'm assuming you're going to do that. And then you're going to pat him on the back and hold him and tell him everything's going to be all right. And marry this man.
Yep. And that's what happens. They get married.
It must not be a weird thing back then for people to die off like that then. If he's willing to marry this woman.
I guess. I still think.
Manipulation is strong.
We thinking with our... I'm just thinking with my dick. I feel like that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so she and James go on to have 2 children. Now, the first one passes pretty early on. Not sure if it's from gastric fever. Sometimes babies, you know, they don't survive.
Holy fuck, everything out of your mouth is just kid passes. Another child passes.
I know. This is why I had to make a timeline last night. I told you, like, I thought I was done. I'm like, I have to make a timeline and put the list of dates and people so I can keep track of who's alive and who is not alive because there's so many fucking people here.
Yeah.
This
is a sad story.
It is sad and it's crazy. And you think, like, at this point, she's still not that old. She's younger than us and she's been married. She's on her 3rd marriage. She's had 11 kids of her own at this point, and 10 of them have died. Multiple of, just as wild. Okay, so things don't stay great in this marriage, and eventually the 2 split, and I have some tea for you. So apparently...
They split.
My
man got out before it was too fucking late.
He did. He finally wisened up at some point. And what I read in multiple sources was that she was really pressuring him to take out an insurance policy on his life.
That's when the fucking spidey senses fucking kicked off.
Yep. And he wasn't into that.
He's like, hold the fuck on.
Yes. He thought that seemed suspicious and he was right.
Rightfully so. Yeah.
Yes. Now I did read in a couple other articles, but not like consistently in all of them, is that possibly she had a debt that he didn't know about, and that she also he had given her money to deposit into the bank and she kept some of it and he found out. And then I even read that it's possible she was getting some of the kids to take things from their home and sell them so she could have some money.
Just a nasty person.
Yes. Yep. So he kicks her out. Now they don't get divorced, but he kicks her out and she's homeless for a little bit, and he keeps their one son that they had together, George.
Good on him.
Yes. Yes, it is. And then I think he has 2 remaining stepkids at that point.
Yep.
And so back to the drawing board for Marianne.
I would
good
like
on
to see what
him.
she looks like because I already know. You don't even have to tell me. I'm assuming she's going to fucking link up with another man, get brought into the household, start killing off who's ever there. She just doesn't like anyone.
She doesn't.
And it's not even all money motivated, which is what's tripping me out, right? It's not all life insurance policies where she's just collecting money. Like, because some people kill for money.
Well, sure. Now, could
But
it be some of this is also getting rid of things she doesn't want? You know what I mean? So it can clear a path for her to make money.
I don't know how killing off. Why would you kill off a couple children
Because
instead of
you inherit more, maybe?
how? If there's no life insurance policy, I would.
Wills?
Wills for children? What are you collecting?
No. Like if the kids die, then if your husband dies, everything would go to you.
Yeah, but
Not to the children, maybe?
right. But if money's your number one thing, you would get with your husband, cool the jets for a minute,
Yeah.
and then be like, hey, my last relationship, like a couple of my kids died, and we didn't have a life insurance policy for them, so that means burying them was harder, right? And all these things,
Yeah.
all the medical bills, whatever.
Are you trying to tee up a story for me? I see the flicker in your eye as you're
I'm just like, why would you just kill these people for no reason? I don't see the reason why. Like normally with
Yeah, maybe she just gets over it. She's like, I don't want to take care of anybody. I just want the money.
it's not even money for her though.
Or
Completely.
I just want, I don't, patience is not a virtue of
She
hers.
just enjoys murdering.
That's very possible.
That's it.
That's very possible. All right, so we're going to fast forward a little bit to 1870, and Marianne is introduced to a man named Frederick Cotton, who...
Frederick, isn't her last name Cotton?
It is Cotton. No, it's because of this marriage.
Oh, she
yes.
marries him.
In the beginning, her name was Marianne Robson.
Gotcha, okay.
And her name changes throughout, but now it will become Marianne Cotton. Yes.
Gotcha,
Good ear.
okay, yeah.
So she is introduced by a friend, which I forgot to write her friend's name down. I think it's Margaret, but that's Frederick's sister.
Okay.
And so her friend introduces them, and Frederick is also a widower, just like her last and still current husband, because they did not get a divorce. He's a widower, and he has 4 children from a previous marriage.
Hide them fucking kids.
Yep. Hide your wife, hide your kids, hide
everything.
Yeah. So a lot happens in 1870, the year she meets him. Now, because Frederick is widowed, his sister, Marianne's friend, has been helping take care of his kids.
Right.
Which I think is interesting when you hear what happens, because really it's like he had some help already, and not a wife role, but like help with the parenting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Frederick's sister passes away. And so now that spot is all
I don't
open.
want no woman interfering with me,
Yeah.
is what I think.
Yep, that's what I think too. And so I guess she forgot also to mention that she was still married. So they get married bigamously, illegally.
Yeah.
Now she got 2 husbands. And together, she and Frederick get pregnant. And they give birth to their son in 1871, the next year.
Her 14th kid? 13th?
I don't have the tally on this part, but that's
It's a lot of
12th,
kids.
I think. I think it's her 12th kid.
Okay.
11th or 12th.
Yeah.
She, fertile myrtle here. She's really busting him out for
Yeah.
sure. Okay. Let's see. And in 1872, 2 years after they meet, Frederick passes away. And guess what he had? Gastric fever.
Gas.
Trick fever.
Gas in the ass. No, I don't know.
Gastric fever.
I mean, that's not surprising, though. This whole story so far has been after, like, the 4th kid. It's just been...
I think, I know, was this about to go?
Yes.
And you do, and it's a sad place, despite the singing. Okay, so 2 more children of his also pass away, and they all conveniently had insurance policies that Marianne collected on, unsurprisingly. Okay, so at this point, I put a death tally in, and so that's what I was checking right before the episode.
Let me take a guess.
Okay.
I'm going to say...
How many husbands dead?
3.
Yes.
I'm going to say 3 husbands, 15 children.
10 biological children, 4 stepchildren, 1 mother, 1 friend.
Oh, I forgot about the friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she has 2 living children. One is George, who's living with his dad. And the son she had with Frederick, his name is Robert. So he's still with Marianne. And there are still, I believe, 3 stepchildren at this time living with Marianne. Okay, this just all the... Go ahead.
How many total?
Oh, God. I didn't do that math on it.
Oh, I thought you calculated it.
Nah,
man.
I calculated it by category.
Okay.
No, I don't want to do math under pressure.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, also, this side note, when we're talking about like all her husbands, it makes me think of our son Emmett. So, side note, Brandon is Emmett's bonus dad. And so we all, co-parent together and it's great. But
she's had one other husband besides me.
Yes, but I am only currently married and forever married now to you.
That I'm aware of.
That I'm aware of also. In all fairness.
Yeah.
However, sometimes when Emmett sees a similarity between both of his dads, he'll be like, did you know all your husbands like spicy food? And I'm like, can we not say that in public, please? Because
he knows it. He loves it and he rolls with it.
I was horrified the first time. I'm like, can you not say all your husbands? Like there's been 20 of them all at the same time.
He's just been ran through.
Ew. Disrespectful. Disrespectful. All right. So this isn't about me anyway. This is about Marianne and all her husbands. Also, I am 2 for 2 on my husbands being alive.
Good on you, by the way.
Thank you. Humble brag.
Yeah.
The bar is
honestly,
so low.
it's so suspicious even in this time and day. Like if you have more than one dead husband, it's a little weird. Already, I don't care how they died. You have 2 dead husbands. It's so bad luck, and I'm sure they're out there. But like,
sure, and sometimes they happen for sad
Well, I watched a TikTok. It was one lady. Both her husbands have died
during renovations.
During renovations,
I saw that one too!
Yes, let's go. So
I was gonna bring that one up,
and
when
the
you
way
said
she
that.
was talking about it, she didn't seem sad or anything, and I was like, "That's a little fucking weird."
It was a weird way that she presented that TikTok.
No sadness.
And she said, one of them, she said it so disrespectfully about the way that he died. And I think she was just trying to be funny. I get it, find humor in grief. But I was like, ma'am, you should have run this TikTok by a friend.
A friend
Who's not doing renovations for you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. It's so funny. I 100% thought of that also.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, Marianne, single, ready to mingle.
That's right.
And mingle she does. In fact, she decides to mingle. What's that mean?
Strangle.
If you say it a second time, it doesn't make more sense.
I said strangle. Strangle. Strangle.
No one's even getting strangled in the story.
Oh, they're not. But death and strangling. Oh, that was a terrible joke.
Do you feel good about it?
No.
That's fair.
I was trying. I thought I had something. I didn't have
You fool.
I didn't have shit.
I
wanted
like
to,
if I say it more, it's totally gonna work.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Thank you. All right, continue.
All right, so she decides that she's gonna mingle with not 1 but 2 men. Get it, girl?
Two for one.
Okay. So the first one is someone she had previously taken as a lover. Just when she was younger, his name was Joseph. It's either Natras or Natras. I like to think it's Natras because I typed hitting the mattress with Joseph Natras. Okay. And I giggled to myself. Was it a great joke? No. Was it better than Stringle? Maybe.
Absolutely.
So in addition to seeing him, she's also seeing another man named John Quick Manning. And she eventually becomes pregnant with his child.
Fuck.
Okay. Also... how does she know it's one and not the others?
She doesn't, but she likes John more.
Maybe that's it.
She fucking likes John more. This is your child, John, and you're gonna be here for this child. Right?
Yep. So now at this time, she's taking care of 3 of her stepsons from her marriage to Frederick Cotton, and she's also still technically married. Not technically, she just is still married to the other husband. So James Robinson.
She is a just walking piece of shit.
How does she even fucking keep track? Like, isn't she tired at this point? Like, how many people's names you have to learn? And she's like, I'm not going to fucking learn it for long.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
I don't know, man. And the memories that you create, how are you not mixing up with different people? Like, oh, fucking.
Maybe it's like, fuck boy celebrity, like Babe. And she's just like kid.
Yeah. They.
Kid. Yep.
Yeah. Remember when.
Boy. Girl.
That way you can't slip up, right? She's not listing any names.
Yeah,
just
Yep.
pronouns and
Yep.
shit like that.
All right. So while she's pregnant with John Natras or Natras's baby, 2 of her stepsons pass away. And guess what? Seems like they had gastric issues.
That dirty bitch.
Yep. And so Joseph Natras, the guy she's sleeping with, and the one who got her pregnant, or who didn't get her pregnant, sorry, Joseph Natras.
No, he's the side dick.
Yeah, he's the side dick that didn't get her pregnant. He also passes away, and conveniently, before he passes away, he updated his will, so he leaves his belongings to her.
What? This bitch is...
He didn't even put a ring on it, and he was like, "You can have my shit."
You can have all my monies.
Yep.
How? I want to know what she's looking like, right?
Not great. I mean, maybe
Well,
for the
she's
time.
not looking... If you paint a picture, she's not looking great.
And
but
she's
like,
not
what...
smelling great because, again, I hold that she smells like pee.
She must have, even she's dropping these kids out like they're nothing. She must have something about her is captivating for these men.
Something.
She might be, I don't know.
I have anything but disrespectful thoughts on this.
I got nothing but
it.
disrespectful thoughts too, but she's doing something to be able to manipulate all these people.
I know. It's insane.
Wild.
Okay, hold on. I got a little quote here, I think. So, according to an article I read, on crimewire.com, his cause of death was gastric fever. So now Marion decides, yep, John is it. The guy I'm pregnant with.
There are police back then, right?
Yeah.
There are, right? Correct?
There are. Someday they will make an appearance. So far, nope.
Is nobody putting this together? Gastric fever. Gastric fever. Gastric fever. Just had a baby. Guess what he died from? Gastric fever.
Yeah. Well, but how many... And she's living in like kind of the same area, but maybe there's not a lot of crosstalk among some of the different towns she's lived in.
Fucking hot tea was a thing back then. It had to have been. What else are you doing? Throwing rocks at cans?
Yeah. Did they have cans back then? That's a
Had to
stupid
have.
question. Was everything jarred?
There was cans back then. No, everything. There was cans. Aluminum back then?
Maybe.
That
seemed... All right, let's
Regardless,
go with it.
Fucking throwing
Not
rocks
qualified.
at jars are maybe better.
Sure. Yep. Okay. Bottles.
Yeah.
Shooting bottles off a fence post.
Whatever.
Skinning a rabbit.
Skinning rabbits.
I don't know.
And pissing panties.
Piss and panties. All right. So she decides, yep, John, you know what? He knocked me up and he is the perfect next candidate to be my husband, even though I still have a husband. And little glitch in her plans. John says, nah, hard pass. I don't want to marry you.
Finally. I was like, where are these dudes are just lining up left and right to hand their shit over.
I know. I just
Good
know.
on John. Nutmeg. Nurture.
No, this is Quick Manning. John
Oh,
Quick Manning.
As the other guy.
Yep. And that was Natras. Yes. There's so many people I know.
That's a lot.
You're doing a great job following along, though.
I'm trying.
Okay. So now Marianne is taking care of her remaining stepson with Frederick, who is a 7-year-old named Charles Edward Cotton. So he's the last remaining child she's taking care of at this point.
Biological?
No, it's her stepson. She has no biological children left alive at this
None.
point.
She said fucking air. I don't want anyone.
Now she has one biological child that is alive that's living with his dad, the one who kicked her out.
The one that said, bitch, you gone.
Said, bye, bitch. Yep. Okay. So she decides she wants to, he's in the way of her plans. I think she got offered a job as a nurse, but she couldn't do that with him. So she wants to put him in a workhouse. Do you know what a workhouse is?
It sounds brutal.
It is brutal. I don't know why I said that so happily. It is, in fact, brutal. So there is a website actually called victorianchildren.org.
She wants to put her stepson in a workhouse.
Yep.
Which is just slavery, if we're being honest, I would assume.
All right. So here are some direct quotes from the article. I just
Yeah.
think it's easier to read this. So victorianchildren.org, quote, "These workhouses were designed to make able-bodied people go out and work by offering shelter for wage earners, day workers, and apprentices where there wasn't any work available locally." So it's supposed to be taking care of people. However, the article also said, quote, "The conditions inside the Victorian workhouse were appalling. Inmates lived in total poverty and squalor, and most were malnourished and poorly clothed. There was very little food available, and the available food was often low quality. In between meals, they had to earn their food in bed by working hard at the jobs given to them by the guardians. In addition, the living quarters were extremely cramped and unsanitary. The inmates were also subjected to frequent beatings and other forms of punishment.
Yeah, if you don't do what we fucking say, we're going to beat you.
Yeah, so that's where she's like, I could take care of you, little Charles, but I think I'd rather put you here, where you will be abused and hungry and dirty.
In all fairness, as fucked up as that is, it's better than being in the presence of this woman.
As soon as you started to say in all fairness, I was like, I know where you're going, and you were right. He has
a better chance here than he does with fucking this lady.
Yep.
It's a shit hand all across the board, but...
Yep. So, in case you couldn't already tell, she's a terrible person. This is where she wants to take a 7-year-old. And she had been talking to a local official whose name was Thomas Riley. And she was saying, like, can I take Charles to the workhouse? And Riley said, you can't just, like, unload him here and go on your merry way. If you take him to the workhouse, you have to live there with him. Like, because
boom,
you're...
bitch.
Yeah. She doesn't love that. And this is what she says. This is a quote from Wikipedia. She said, quote, she told Riley that the boy was sickly and added, I won't be troubled long. He'll go like all the rest of the Cottons.
You suck a dick, lady.
Yeah,
You're already sucking multiple, but go ahead and suck about 10 more.
She is not even trying to, like, be slick anymore. I guess she's gotten away with it so many times.
Think about the confidence this woman fucking has to get away with shit.
The audacity. Yep. And so Riley also thinks this is like a super weird thing to say, and he makes a little mental note. Marion Cotton said a super weird thing today, and just puts that in the back burner.
Yep.
All right. Wouldn't you know it? Little Charles passes away, and it looks like gastric fever. I know.
Could have called that shit.
You did call that shit, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Fun fact, Riley, the guy who made a little mental note, Marion said a weird thing.
Finally goes to the police.
He is the assistant coroner. And he notifies the police about what Marianne said and said, you guys might want to fucking look into this. This is weird.
Bitch is trifling.
Yes. And so the coroner looks further into Charles's death.
Yeah.
And when he examines Charles's stomach, he finds something. Arsenic.
Mm-hmm. So this is what she's been using the whole time. I was trying to, like, in my head think, I'm not a fucking poison expert, but I was thinking like resin or something.
Is resin poisonous?
Yeah.
Okay. Today I learned.
I think.
I don't know.
For all I know, I don't know anything. Let's make one thing clear. I know nothing. But I think resin.
Okay.
Isn't that what they used in fucking Breaking Bad? He poisoned the little boy with resin, or he thought it was resin.
No, he didn't. Oh, no. Well, first he poisoned him with those berries, but it was...
Lily of the Valley is what he poisoned him with, but Jesse thought it was resin.
No. He thought it was, that powder that was a scare people mailed to each other.
Anthrax?
No. Ricin. He thought it was ricin.
Oh, ricin, not resin. Motherfucker. See, I know nothing.
Okay. There you go, though. Resin, I was like,
it's out there. Don't come for me for shit. I know nothing.
Don't eat resin either.
Brain slick over here.
Smooth brain.
Yeah.
Okay. So, there's arsenic in his body. And you know what has very similar symptoms to gastric fever? Arsenic symptoms.
Okay.
So that's why it looks like gastric fever.
Yeah.
So officials think, you know what? Like, a lot of people have died.
She's got
around
a
her
back catalog of people just lined up.
Maybe we should, like, do a job, I guess, now and look into a couple more deaths. So they exhumed the bodies of 2 more of the Cotton children, as well as her lover that passed.
Is it able to stick?
Joseph Natras.
They're able to find out it was arsenic also.
Guess what they found in all their bodies?
Arsenic,
correct. It'd be so weird if you got it wrong, but great job.
Fucking resin.
Knew it. All right, so let's take a moment.
Well, it's a good thing it didn't dissipate or something, right? Like over time.
Oh yeah. So I didn't dive into the testing piece of this, but it wasn't that long before they found this that a doctor had actually came up with a test to find arsenic in bodies. But I did some side research, like little adventure around
Side
arsenic.
hustle?
Yes. Okay. So let's take a moment to talk about arsenic.
All right.
I feel like Gary Busey. Let's talk about buttered sausages. Was that good?
That's fucking terrible.
It felt so good. It felt right.
No. You didn't get the eyes right. You didn't get the facial expressions right. And you fucking definitely didn't get the voice right. But I appreciate
We can cut it.
No.
No, please cut it.
No. Absolutely not.
All right. So, first, we're going to start with what arsenic is. So this is a direct quote from historyuk.com. Arsenic, more properly arsenic trioxide, is a highly poisonous white powder. It was very cheap, a byproduct of metal industries, and ordinary Victorians could buy it from their local chemist or even their grocer as poison for rats and mice. It had little or no flavor. Robert Christensen, daredevil toxicologist, I'm going to come back to that, had put some on his tongue and discovered it had a very slight sweet taste. Mix it in with gruel or stew and the recipient would be none the wiser. The main symptoms of arsenic poisoning were vomiting and diarrhea, which made it indistinguishable from the sometimes fatal bugs that often went the rounds in the country that had poor sanitation. Arsenic was a convenient secret weapon for poisoners.
I'm just curious on how you find out of this knowledge. Google didn't exist, right? It's not like you can...
Well, they were buying it for the
rats.
From chemists. Also, I love your local chemist.
Yeah.
It was like your local pharmacist probably at this point.
Maybe.
Also, they called him a daredevil toxicologist.
Yeah, it's wild.
What the fuck does that mean? Although he put the arsenic on his tongue, so was that it? It was like his one and only act?
Yeah. I think there was more. I think he tests out all kinds of shit. Also, it said
he was
from
like
metal.
like an old druggy roommate that's like, oh, it's totally fine to take. But they're like, oh no, but back then he was a chemist.
Yeah. It said from metal.
Byproduct of metal.
Yeah. So is this like machinery? Like, are they like
I don't
cans?
know.
Let's go back to that. Cans.
All right. So here's the thing. It wasn't just used in rat poison. It was also used in a very special shade of green that was all the rage at the time, and it had a name. It was called Shields Green. It was named after the person who came up with this green color.
Paint?
Well, here, let me tell you about it. Okay, so this is from shorehomeandgarden.com. Quote, arsenic could be found in many color agents. However, it was not simply limited to green. Unfortunately, the bright, vivid green that was so deadly and effective in harming people was also coveted greatly in fashion during this era. Arsenic touched many parts of the Victorian life. The substance could be found in green food coloring and dyes, sugars and bulk foods, coloring for wreaths and scarves worn about the head and neck, and a serious amount in beautiful wallpaper at the time. Arsenic could also be found in clothing, bedding, linens, undergarments, medicines, and powdered versions of all sorts of things.
Let's just throw fucking arsenic in everything. Continue.
Probably in the pee pants. Continuing the quote, last but not least, it was found in the mixing of topsoil, agricultural additives, as well as, shockingly, beauty products to apply to the face and body, such as face powder and children's toys and products. If you lived in Victorian times during the late 19th century, there was a good chance your life involved some sort of use of an arsenic product.
That is fucking crazy. Children's
everything.
toys? Like the women's makeup and shit is wild, but when you hit me with children's toys, they put every fucking thing in their mouth.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
That's wild.
They also put like mulch in their mouth you might pick up off the ground.
Yeah.
Good thing it's in the fucking whatever garden stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so one other important item to note. This is a quote from the same article. The vibrant Shields green was so popular during this era of decor that it was used in practically every wallpaper pattern in the Victorian home as well as paint. By the 1850s, it was established that there were over 100 million square feet of this green wallpaper in the UK. Wallpaper was more deadly than most items due to arsenic content, but it was ever present in the room. Particles would flake off of the wallpaper as fibers and get into lung linings, and the wallpaper itself produced a gas called trimethylarsine. I wish I had tried that before. And leached into every pore of the body. It didn't help that during Victorian times, one would keep the window closed most days, as the heavy air of the Industrial Revolution would leach into your home and find other ways to kill you.
Holy fuck.
How did anybody live?
You just doomed.
Yes.
Doomed from the outside air, doomed from the fucking wallpaper.
I know. I was like...
Children's toys, makeup, fucking mulch.
Everything. How did anybody live?
That's wild.
Yup. So anyway, just there's other side things you can research about all the different ways people who worked with those dyes and manufacturing those things also got sick and died. It's not good. It's like open the windows and let the toxic smog in, or keep them shut and breathe in the arsenic.
Fucking wallpaper.
Yep.
Man.
Yep. All right. So I wasn't even going to quote that much, but there was so many good pieces in there. I'm like, I'm not going to summarize it. So the article said it beautifully.
Yep.
Let's go with them. All right. So log away those little nuggets because they're going to come back. So back to the story. It's the end of 1872, beginning of 1873, and officials have identified 4 people associated with Mary Ann that had died with arsenic in their system. And so, update on the timeline. Here's where we are. 3 husbands deceased, 1 husband living, 1 lover deceased, 11 biological children deceased, 8 stepchildren deceased, 1 mother deceased, 1 friend deceased, 1 child living, that's George with his dad, 2 stepchildren living, also with George and the dad, and then Mary is pregnant with John Quick Manning's baby.
Fucking bodies.
Bonkers, right? 2? I thought you were going to say bonkers, but yes,
bodies.
bodies.
I was going to say barnacles.
Okay, interesting third choice.
Yeah.
I liked that one also.
But I decided to go with bodies because also irrelevant.
Yeah. No, just relevant.
What did I say?
Irrelevant.
Oh, relevant.
All right.
I've had a few shots.
All right. So officials decide to charge Mary Ann with murdering her stepson, 7-year-old Charles Cotton. But they say, you're pregnant. We're going to let you stay in jail until you deliver this baby, and then off to court.
Yeah.
So on January 7th, 1873.
Which, fuck that. They should have sent her off to court anyway.
Yeah, well,
You know.
yeah, I get that. I don't know what the point, so she couldn't run maybe.
I don't know.
But on January 7th, 1873, she gives birth to a girl who she names Margaret Edith Quick Manning Cotton. Long name. And that is her 13th child.
Not a good number. Although not a good number when that's your mother.
Yeah, in any numbers.
Any number.
Not good. So during her trial, her lawyer tries to argue, listen, Charles got sick because that arsenic wallpaper, that's all over your house.
I knew when you said come back to this, fuck it, we're going to come back to these nuggets.
Yep.
I knew that was going to be her arguing statement is arsenic's in the toys. The kids were eating them.
Yep.
Fucking mulch. Wallpaper. This, that, and the other.
Yep. And so...
But fuck that. There's no way that 15, 20, I don't even know. I've lost count.
so many.
So many people have died because of the same thing.
Well, they didn't all live in the same home either. So we're talking multiple homes. I know she's not on trial for all of the deaths, but...
Still.
Not great. And so I said, yeah, okay, if we're talking about one death, maybe, but...
I would give her the... sorry not to interrupt you. I would give you like 5 deaths. Back then, 5 deaths, arsenic, it's in everything. I'll give you 5.
Over a period of time.
Yeah, but
All
there's
right.
no way.
Over 20 years? For those odds, I feel like it's not great, but it seems like maybe it's not unbelievable.
String of bad luck.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Now, prosecutors were allowed to present the additional autopsies they performed where they found arsenic. So they were like, okay, but these 3 other people also all died with arsenic.
So what happened there?
So what's up with that?
Yeah.
Were you all licking wallpaper? Did the snozberries taste like snozberries? I don't think so. All right. So once both sides present their cases, jurors go back to deliberate, and it takes them about an hour and a half to come back with their verdict. And the verdict is...
Guilty!
Guilty! And they sentence her to death.
Goodbye. By
Bye.
arsenic? I fucking wish.
No, that would be amazing. Also, I just put a little note. Do you think they even needed 90 minutes? Or were they like, we're hungry, we're poor. Maybe they feed us lunch on jury duty. And they're like,
they pay us by hour. Are they still paying by hour?
Guilty. I don't fucking know.
Because they do now. They pay you per hour. And maybe they're making it. Yeah, maybe they're like, let's fucking ride this one out.
Let's order some fucking mincemeats and we'll like deliberate some more, air quotes.
Some baguettes.
Yeah. Some baguettes, sure.
Yeah.
That or they're like, let's give her a little hope. But yeah, we're going to
I don't think it took that long. I mean, it's like we said, man, there's no way everybody's dropping off. Different homes, different circumstances, and everybody's dropping off from fucking
they just
arsenic poisoning.
Yeah.
And you're not hand feeding it to them.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Some of the theories were that she was putting it in tea that she was serving people.
I can see that. I think
you could easily make it like disintegrate in that, but you could put it in anything.
I bet she was putting it in fucking food, teas,
just rubbing
coffees.
the baby's faces straight on the fucking wallpaper.
Probably.
Bad.
I'm sure she was. It had to have been. I mean, especially it being a little sweet, it's got to be easy to hide in anything.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So on March 24th, 1873. Our wedding anniversary, but like
200 years fucking ago.
Yeah. I wasn't even trying to do the math. Like, I'm so scared to do math now.
I don't care. I'm just
here.
I'm wrong about everything I say.
It's not true.
I'm taking that.
All right. Her sentence is carried out and she is hanged. However, all right, just warning, like this part's a little bit gruesome. This is a quote from Britannica.com. Quote, "It was performed by a notoriously clumsy hangman, and the trapdoor was not positioned high enough to break her neck, forcing the executioner to press down on her shoulders. Some 3 minutes passed before she finally died."
Fucking karma, lady. Ugh.
Yep. Also,
I don't fucking feel bad about that one bit.
I don't either.
If anything, I wish they would have just let it sit there.
Well, maybe she wouldn't have died. I mean, I guess eventually. Okay, but what is a notoriously clumsy hangman? Like, that was were we going to skim over that?
Notorious clumsy. Like, let's fire that guy, too.
I mean, he's like, well, they always end up dead in the end or whatever. But, like, that seems like be better at your job.
Maybe, or maybe some people deserved it. He's like, this bitch murdered how many children?
He's like,
I'm going to fuck this one up.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, oopsie daisy.
Yep.
Just a clumsy hangman.
Yeah.
Notoriously clumsy, some would say.
I'm glad she got some extra pain. She felt that. I know she felt that.
Yep.
And that was not an easy death.
No.
And she deserved it. So,
yeah.
fuck
awful.
you, lady.
So, now some people have called Marion Cotton Britain's first female serial killer, or Britain's first serial killer. And she was definitely one of the first. She wasn't the first, but she's the first we know of that magnitude for sure. And she was definitely one of the earliest.
Yeah.
It said that she's definitely, if nothing else, like one of the most notorious. Not even for that time, just in general, that so many people. And so surprising that she's not as well known as some of the others.
Right.
Which I think is interesting.
Which could be a good thing. I mean, I feel like serial killers get too much notoriety.
Notoriety,
yeah.
Yeah.
Too much because, like, they always say that, like, nobody knows the victims, everybody knows the fucking killers and shit like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wild, though. Yeah, she has so many bodies under her belt,
right.
Which is...
And they didn't really perform autopsies on all of them, but I think we can connect the dots that she was behind the majority of those deaths.
I would say all of them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was all of them.
It seems like
maybe
possible.
The first one it wasn't, right? The first, and she realized, like, oh, people just get sick and die. Like,
yeah.
I'm realizing this is a trend. Let me just fucking speed it up.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah.
So that's today's story.
That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, I'm Whitney, and this is Brandon, and thank you for listening to Criminally Unqualified.
We appreciate you.
Yes, we appreciate
Always.
you. If you like today's episode, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review. We will be posting episodes every Monday.
Yep. Also follow our TikTok and Instagram, all at Criminally Unqualified.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
And that's the show.